My favorite photo on my phone right now is one that I didn't even take, which, isn't something that a lot of photographers would probably admit. But for me, it's something that I'm pretty happy about. My little brother took it, and it's a picture of my old dog, Daxter, who unfortunately passed away just before Christmas. And today, when I'm recording this, is actually the morning of Valentine's Day, which is Daxter's birthday. So for me, it's always Daxter Day. And to me, the best photo is this. Now, what makes this my favorite photo is that it shows Daxter's personality. And it also kind of demonstrates a little bit of my little brother's sense of humor. But I think that the best photos are the ones that capture some sort of emotion, or it captures something that the viewer is going to connect with. And it's going to be different for everybody, obviously. Something I think that each photographer should have a grasp on is what makes people like a photo. And it's usually not going to be all those technical aspects of it. I mean, those do matter, but it's going to be how they connect to that photo. And to me, this photo of Daxter is the photo that I connect to the most. It's not any of the photos that I've taken. I do love my photos, obviously. I wouldn't do photography if I didn't love my photos, but this one is always going to be my favorite, at least for the foreseeable future. With it being Daxter's birthday, I kind of want to take a moment and just talk about my dog, Daxter. He was great. Daxter was probably more of a person to me than he was a dog. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that feeling of connection with their pets. But, pets is family. That's something someone told me, and it's true. When someone has their dog or cat with them that they love, it's always going to be something that they remember as their little brother or their, baby or whatever. For me, Daxter was like my little brother. He was more than just a dog or a friend. He was always my baby brother. It's what it felt like. And I'd always show people pictures of him, as I was always happy about how big he was. He was a boxer lab mix, so people would mix him up for being kind of mean and rough, but he was anything but. It didn't help his case that he liked to growl at everything, but he just groaned to communicate. It wasn't like he was aggressive or anything like that. In fact, he was really inquisitive, I think. When we first got Daxter, we had a cat named Oreo, who was also, the best cat. But Daxter was a little puppy, Oreo was a cat, and they would go on walks together from time to time. In the last year of Daxter's life, he had these two friends. They were Iris and Sketchy, who I'm going to show you right now. Iris didn't stick around. Another family took him in. He was very friendly and loved people, and I'll show you guys a little clip of Iris and Sketchy laying on my lap. Iris is the one pressed up against me, and Sketchy is the one that's there because Iris is there. They were little homies, and for a while, Sketchy would only approach me if Iris or Daxter were nearby, because she knew that Iris liked Daxter. After a while, when it was just Sketchy and Daxter, Sketchy came to like me and my mom. She's still very skittish around anybody else. And you'll notice the Hurricanes hat I wear every time. It's so Sketchy is short for Andrei Skechnikov. It's a little play on a Hurricanes player. When I lost Daxter, it felt really like the world stopped turning. And, that's okay, because that's what happens. You lose someone, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel sad about it. It's appropriate. When I started to get to know Silas, I was at first kind of comparing him to Daxter, but then I realized, he's Silas. He's not Daxter. And he has his own personality. He's got everything that Silas has. Daxter had everything that Daxter had. By the time that we were doing this photography thing and I was going out on my adventures, it was really 2 years ago, Daxter would have been 14 today. So his hips were too bad to get in and out of the car for, hours of driving and hiking up mountains and stuff. I was able to get some videos before he passed away. They were both taken at Lake Norman State Park. It was an easy one for him to get to. It's an easy one for a dog to hike. That's old. And there's something about Daxter that I said in these videos that I think kind of sums up his life. And I'll play it here. On Enough Adventures. He said, too much excitement, not enough adventures in his life. When we first got Daxter, I was first going through getting my Crohn's diagnosis and figuring out how to treat it all. We had lost our house. My parents divorced, all these things. We had moved around several times. Daxter was there with me through it all. And, it's not just my life that he touched, but I can only speak from my experience that Daxter was a great friend and he was a little brother to me. We went through a lot together and I'm glad we got to spend those moments together. He's always going to be in my memories as someone that I'm going to miss, but I'm happy that I got to spend the time I did with him. And that's what, this photo reminds me of. And to tie this back to photography, for those of you who are, here for the photography stuff, I don't want to waste your time. That's the kind of thing that the best photos evoke. This photo reminds me of Daxter's personality. It reminds me of all the time that I spent with Daxter. It's a lot for a photo to live up to. It shouldn't be, that shouldn't be the only photo you try to get. But when you take a photo of like a state park or a city, that's the people who are going to be interested in that photo the most. Is going to be the people who enjoy that park, that city, or that state, or, that environment. And it's going to always be about what does this photo remind them of emotionally. That's how you're going to get someone's favorite photo. And that's how you get a career as a photographer. People like photos that they're in. People like photos that remind them of things that they did. People like photos of places that they love. People like photos of places that they want to go to, that they aspire to go to. People like photos of activities that they enjoy. All these things, their favorite player on a sports team. Some of my favorite photos are also of hockey players that I love to watch. It's just, kind of think about that when you're thinking of, starting an online store or selling your photos. It's about the emotional connection that people have of it. And that's what people want. You're always going to love your photos. So they're always worth taking because really you're in it for you, really. It makes you happy. That's why you do it. All the other things, if you want to make a living with it, that's what you look for. I would have bought this photo of Daxter from my little brother if he sold it to me. Thankfully he didn't. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. I try to make it something that you can learn from. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Hopefully we can get Dax swimming. It's pretty funny when he swims. We had to teach him how to swim because he insists on keeping his legs down and he like splashes with his top arms. He doesn't like to swim. It's weird because he's part lab.